If you're a Spider-Man fan, I have something big for you today. I'm gonna go ahead and go over 3 of my favorite Spider-Man costumes, and those 3 costumes are actually my 3 Spiderman Symbiote costumes. I'm gonna go over the fandom, the reason behind why I got these costumes, and, you know, also why I love them so much. With all that being said, let's get this thing cracking. I want to show you guys today is the classic symbiote suit from the 1984 Secret Wars. That's when Peter Parker first actually got this costume, where he was on a different world and he got the symbiote and he brought it back with him to Earth. So the cool thing and the reason I got this costume was it was actually a really big part of the Spider-Man story. It's actually one of his most iconic costumes. It's one of the first costumes that we seen him switch from the red and blue to the black and white. And to me, I'm kind of the bad boy vibes, you know? I definitely love the symbiote's relationship with Peter Parker, and I think that this suit is actually one of my favorite symbiote suits. So for this one, I forget exactly where I got this design file from. I believe it was Cinnamon Designs, and then I actually got the I had it sewn by Zentai Zone. When it comes to the face shell, I got this from Oracle UK, and it's a little bit different than the ones that they use in the comics, as the ones in the comics are a little bit longer, but I couldn't find one that I really liked, and I thought this one was simple and it was elegant. It had a really nice construct design, and so with all that being said, let's go try this bad boy on. I wish that it was like the way in the comics where this suit just came on whenever I asked it to, because this whole process of putting on a Spider-Man costume is not the funnest. For these, it has the U invisible zippers. So I just, some of them are a little bit harder to do myself, but luckily I just have figured out the best way to, maybe not. There we go. Whew, we are in business. Now usually I just like to crinkle in the hands, make a little bit of length here. And then last part we're going to do is put this thing on. This is gonna be kind of hard for me since I don't have a mirror. Let's see what I can do here. Just one zipper in the back here. And then what I do, just pull down the head here. But like for the most part, I'm pretty straight. What do you think, cameraman?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good? Then there's some magnets attached to these. Any crinkles in the eye right there? No. Mm-hmm. Nothing? And there you have it. The symbiote. Spider-Man. Symbiote Spider-Man costume is actually from Spiderman III, and this is the first black suit that I got. This is my 3rd Spidey suit, and I just knew I needed it. I mean, can we all admit, even though Spiderman III isn't the best of the Raimi trilogy, it definitely had some really awesome parts of it. That being, my favorite was whenever he first had that, you know, bond with the symbiote, and then he comes back like to life after like the gel's like coming all over him, and he comes back in the black costume. You have that iconic music, and he's like or upside down, I was gonna say backwards, and he's like up against that mirror, and you see him like jump off, and you realize like, dang, Spider-Man is so much more powerful now with this suit. That's something that I really love about the symbiote Spider-Man, is like his powers are enhanced like times 10. He doesn't have to have the organic web shooters, or he has organic web shooters. He doesn't need his like, you know, handmade web shooters, and he can also change into the costume whenever, because his suit helps him with that. The only issues that come with the symbiote is, you know, you kind of start to lose control after a while, and you start to have that bond, and that's why we see a big issue with it. But this costume nonetheless is one of my all-time favorites. This one's a little bit different. I have this one constructed by RPC Studios. They have the design files, and for this I actually have the hood attached, so I can't take off the mask with this one, which is it makes the costume look more realistic, but it definitely sucks when you're at cons or whenever you're shooting. I'm doing flips in this, and I need that little initial oomph break, you know, a little breath, because it's hard to breathe in these things. So with this suit, I got it from RPC Studios. They had the design there. Highly recommend it. Very high quality design, and it looks just like the one from the movies. And then for the design for the facial, this is one that I was very, very particular with, because I couldn't find Raimi accurate facials for less than like $350. So, you know, I had to bite the bullet, and I got this one from No Limit Design on Instagram. They're out of the UK, so up the prices a little bit. But the great thing about this facial is it's very realistic. You can see right there the nice detail. And I like how it's very breathable in this thing as well. It's a little bit different of a facial design from the other ones, as these pieces actually fold inward, as you can see right there, which make it a little bit more difficult to get the costume to not have those little like edges on a lot of the facial lenses. But nonetheless, once you get it up and rolling, you really feel like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. One of the most iconic lines from Spider-Man 3, and it was the first line that we actually saw when Tobey Maguire first donned the symbiote Spider-Man suit. Remember, he's upside down on that building, and he just looked so bad, you know. And he also had that, just like, you could tell he had so much more power and strength when he put this suit on. And that's why I actually decided to get this suit. I think it's super awesome, and it's actually one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man suits. Now, I actually put this suit on a little bit different than the other one, because it has W zipper. It's a little bit hard for me to put on, and then the lenses get a little bit messed up. So I just thought I'd set everything up and put on just a mask for you guys right here. And like I said, this one's a little bit more difficult for me to zip. But we are in business. Let's go. Is my most recent Spider-Man Symbiote suit, and this is a design that hasn't really been seen or brought to light yet. It's actually the PS4 design from the Spider-Man PS4 video game, but they actually changed it around a little bit and made it like the black symbiote suit. I definitely think that this is something that we're going to see in the next Spider-Man game, as we had that huge cliffhanger at the end of Harry Osborn actually being in a symbiotic relationship with the symbiote. So it's definitely something that I hope they explore in the video game, and it could really lead to a lot of awesome new designs as far as, you know, costumes, as well as like a really cool storyline. Like, what if we got to see Miles versus Peter, because Peter loses control after being under the symbiote? I think that's something that we would all love to see. So it's definitely a suit that I really wanted to get. I love the original PS4 design, and I thought this one just looked epic. This is another suit that is created by Cinnamon Designs, I believe, on Instagram, and this one I had sewn by Zentai Zone. Highly recommend it. Lastly, we're going to go over the face shell right here. So this is a really, really cool face shell. This face shell was created by Keiko Cosplay, and what's cool about this one is it has interchangeable lenses right here. So I have the wide lenses on, so that, you know, I think that the symbiote always had the bigger white lenses. That's what we saw, so I decided to put that one on for this one. It was really cool. You can just take it off with the magnets, and the cool thing is he has this little thing inside of here to kind of keep your face from pushing up against this 3D printed material, which can kind of lead a little rash or like marks on your face when you take off the mask. Definitely not something that you want to have or deal with. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and put this bad boy on. Our last suit. This is a suit that hasn't been in anything yet, but it's a design that I am really fond of. If anyone has played the PS4 game, Spider-Man game, then you'll recognize this suit. But it's actually a symbiote version. So I hope that this is something that we will see in the next Spider-Man game, as I think it would develop a lot of the relationship between Miles and Peter. We get to maybe see some fight scenes. This is just a custom design that I bought. Really like it. There's just a couple things that I'm not too fond of, which is it has kind of odd muscle shading, but it does look really cool in pictures. So definitely one of my not all-time favorites, but I definitely like this suit. It has a good fit. And the cool thing about this one comparative to the other two is that it has the removable mask. So you can actually roll around and just have the mask off, which personally I love that look, you know, because it kind of have similar characteristics of Peter B. Parker, so I would like to say. For the mask, I'm just gonna use my PS4 advanced suit. I have a bunch of different lenses. I just have never tried this. I want to try it out with just the OG lenses. Super cool mask. Let's go ahead and put this bad boy on. I already have it set up. And then what I do is I usually tuck in mask layer. Tends to look a little bit more natural and better. And here we go. Let's go give you a showcase of the suit. Woo!